Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. It is our Halloween show. Woo! Jerome, where's the excitement?
I'm sorry, I didn't know I had to add anything to that.
It's a festive season.
Listen, I wasn't allowed to
Exactly.
celebrate Halloween when I was a kid. Okay, Halloween is a weird holiday for me.
Oh, that's right. I said we should go trick or treating one year, and you kept saying no, we're adults, but I would still go trick or treating.
I would fly up there on Sunday on a day's notice to go trick-or-treating.
But
At
anyway,
that point, it's just
Anyway.
robbing. You're just robbing for candy if you're an adult doing trick or treat.
look, there's something better about Halloween candy, and then like birthday cake, supermarket cake for a birthday. Those things just hit differently, and they're just so much more enjoyable.
Ooh. And those
Yeah.
cookies, the frosted ones at the supermarket that
Yes,
people sometimes
those
say are
things will
trash.
give you diabetes. They are
Those are
trash,
good.
but they're good. They're good. We should probably explain
Well, anyway.
why they can't see us, though.
Yes. So for anyone who's watching the YouTube video version of this, we don't have our cameras on like we usually do. And the reason for that is because we haven't told each other's costumes. So we are going to unveil our costumes to one another live on the podcast. Exciting stuff. But before we get to that, we would love it if you clicked a like, gave us a subscribe, on whatever podcast or YouTube platform that you are listening or watching us on. Rate us 5 stars. We would love for those 5 stars. And yeah, send us any questions, any Halloween plans that you have, and we'd love to get them. So with that being said, how do we want to do this? Do we want to just do a countdown?
Jonathan, you're
3,
the
2, 1?
host, so I would say you're
You're
first.
kind of been in control of this. Do you just want to
Wait.
do on 1, 2, 3?
I just say
I think
1,
we should
2,
do
3.
it one at a time. So that way they can absorb it one at a time.
Okay, who goes first? Alex, you're first alphabetically.
Sure. All right, ready?
I'm ready. Let's
Yeah.
see.
All right.
Ooh, very festive.
I'm
Okay.
dressed up with the skull face for Day of the Dead and the veil. Usually it's used to let the spirits know that you are kind of like one of them and they can walk with you. And then trails and everything. And then I have Snowbell, who has always been my little
Oh.
spirit guide. I couldn't wear with the jewelry that I have on now. It was gonna get tangled. But if you guys know, I always wear her and she will always be on me in some way or manner. And there she is. This is my costume. All right, let's go. Wait, who's up? Do we do by last name or just by the letter? Because then Jerome, if we go by first name.
Tis true. Here we go. Hold on, let me find the button.
Okay. I'll do a countdown. 3. Okay, never
Oh,
mind.
the buttons are it's already
Just go,
counted.
just go.
There it is. So I'm let me get the voice right. Hold on, my mustache keeps falling off. I'm a loose cannon cop, doesn't play by the rules. Working on a big case undercover, which is why I have a mustache over my mustache. And let me just switch comb and everything. I like to live dangerously and keep these like luscious locks looking good. God dang it.
For anyone who's listening to the podcast version, Jerome has a full-on Jerry curl.
The whole headphones came
Yeah,
off.
you-
The whole thing's falling apart.
You got the Jerry curls. You got
I'm gonna
the
keep the wig. I'm gonna keep the wig in the shades.
Keep the
but
wig. Keep
everything
the
else
wig.
is
The-
coming up.
You already got yourself a little stash, so it's okay.
Yeah. It's
So
all right.
we'll
There's
talk
a lot-
about it later. We'll talk
I knew
about
the
it later.
mustache wasn't gonna last.
Because you have an actual mustache going on right there.
It's true. It's not gonna stay. It's not. Hold on. I'm just gonna go back undercover. There we go.
Totally look like a different person.
That's right. Can't even recognize him.
I think there's so many like
Jerome is trying so hard to stick his mustache onto his mustache.
there's just so
and it
many
is
like
not working.
Stay
I think
on.
it's just I don't know if they're mean jokes in my head, slightly racist jokes, or nice jokes I can tell between friends. But I'm gonna hold off on all of them until maybe afterwards.
All right.
I like the Jerry curls. I do think they
They're
work on you in
good.
a
They look
in
good
a
on you. They look good on you.
weird way.
Thank
They
you.
work on you. They do.
Thank you. I feel good. It's very warm. I have a lot of heat going on right now.
Jonathan, I could see how they would be warm.
Also, I do have a prop gun as well, but don't worry.
Oh.
It's this is an airsoft gun, so there's nothing in it, but it's just to help with the costume to feel. I don't have a badge though, because I don't need a badge to make arrests.
Feel like you do, but
Nope.
nowadays
This is
people
why I'm
kind of just
suspended
do it on their own.
with pay.
The light's kind of draining me out. There you go. Jonathan, let's see you. A comment you made earlier was about burning down the place. So what costume could involve that?
Okay, for context, I said I almost left my hot glue gun on, and Jerome said, "Don't burn down the place," and I said that's a clue to the costume, burning down the place. So I'll
Burning
unveil
down the
mine
house.
in 3.
That's a song that
Two.
could work for you. All right, let's see, Jonathan.
Okay. Y'all better not conspire against me, okay?
You mean like Jerome
No.
did last night?
Y'all better-
We all joined Jerome for nice,
he's-
fun Halloween games, and then he betrayed all of us at once.
Jerome should have been wearing this costume because he
Mhm.
manipulated. All right.
It's
he
fine. He killed
manipulated.
he
Y'all
killed
can't
me
make laugh. I'm
yesterday.
dropping my mustache. All right.
Oh.
I got a case to solve after this.
Although I was not in that round. If I was in that round,
No, it was me, which is kind of a good outfit because he killed me already.
So for those listening, I am a survivor castaway. I'm on the island, and it's fitting because I'm right now. I'm trying to survive.
I was about to say, I'm
LA.
like, are you a Crip out there on the island or something? What's going on?
This. If you've ever watched an episode of Survivor, they wear the buffs. They wear the buffs. You
They
gotta
do.
have
They
the buffs.
do.
No, they do.
Point on both of you.
not
Point on
wrong.
both of
It's
you.
just that's where my mind immediately went to was, oh snap, Baby Boy. I know this costume.
That is a movie I have not heard in such a long time. Are you referencing the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then that is something I have not thought about in like forever.
I
I
got my
think
hidden immunity idol.
Did
is
you
that
make
what
that?
you
This is the glue gun.
is that what it looks
Oh,
like?
that's cool.
They look different every single season and every single time one's found. Basically they hide, production hides it, and if you get one, you're immune.
Makes sense why they would hide it then, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I think you guys look great.
I love that you can
As
only
do
see
you.
my computer screens in my glasses.
We can
Oh,
see
yeah, I didn't even
everything you
notice
do
that.
now during the podcast.
This
Right.
is true. You can't. The reflection is there. You can see my clutter that is my desk.
Also,
should
I did
see
not
mine. I
know
have, like-
how.
Like for the spooky that I am, McDonald's.
It's a-
Yeah, but it looks great, Alex. Your makeup looks
It does. It really does.
really good.
I did not know how cheap tiki torches were. This was like $4.
It's like October. Of course they're cheap right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
They're like, yeah, nobody's doing, yeah, it's cold out. Nobody wants, oh, you're in LA. No, it gets chilly. It gets their version of chilly.
It does. Although today was not a good example of that because it was like, I think almost hit 90.
I remember when I lived in LA for like a year around December time, people were wearing these like long peacocks. And I'm just standing there and I'm like, it's only 40 degrees. And they're like, it's freezing. I'm like, in the Midwest, this is when you start to like put on your shorts and like go wash your car.
Right.
This is no way winter weather. Now I'm a big wuss. I'm like, oh, it's 50 degrees. God, I'm not going outside. It's too cold.
Gotta get inside.
For real. Like when I went back up to Seattle, I was like, it was in the 60s, and I was like, this is too cold. This is freezing.
I don't know what I'm combing. I'm just
I mean, to your
keeping it
character's
up.
truth.
Right. So I guess
I love this thing.
I guess to start off the Halloween conversation, what has your guys' relationship been with Halloween, like growing up and till today?
I don't have one. But I do have a very solid relationship with Hallelujah Night, which is a crap substitute made up by Christians to still give kids candy just in the name of Jesus instead of anything else, I guess.
Crap or not, if it brought you some happy memories, then, you know, in the end, that's all that matters. If you had some good memories come from it.
I suppose. I did get my goldfish that one year. That was my revenge to my mom for making me do Hallelujah Night instead of Halloween. I got 2 goldfish.
There you go. Get those goldfish.
Did you also have the Harvest Festival? Because that's what we had at my school. Because I went to a private Christian school, and we had the Harvest Festival where we would come in costume, and it would be like a carnival basically. But then thankfully my parents also took me trick-or-treating like the same night. So I didn't face the limitations. But I experienced
showed up what we wore, and then had hay rides, candy, bobbing for apples. Like it was everything Halloween except for the costumes and the monsters. That was it.
I mean,
and the
so
title.
You still had technically Halloween, just no
and trick-or-treating.
costumes.
We didn't trick-or-treat. It's just you just showed up and then they gave you candy. Instead of going like door to door, knocking on houses and stuff.
You know what's funny? I grew up in the Baptist church, as you can clearly tell, and so no, I grew up in a very strict Baptist church faith, the Fundamental Independent Baptist. Like, I went to that private school that was like less than like 80 students in that whole school. My mom was still always very big on Halloween, and we were one of those that, like, she dropped you off at the end of the block, which I love about the 90s. I was at that mark right before people started caring more about their kids and their safety. My mom would drop us off at one block and like go drive down at 3 blocks later. She's like, okay, just go straight, guys. Just go straight. I'll meet you there 3 blocks later. And we would go through like every block. She's like, they'll stay together. It's fine. So we're very big on Halloween. She always made sure, she's like, what do you want to be? What spooky thing? You have to be some sort of scary. She was never like, do you want to be a princess? Do you want to be? She's like, are you going to be a vampire? Witch? What scary are you going to be? So I was appreciated with her.
Yeah. Like I said, we had the Harvest Festival for my elementary school. And then on like Halloween night, I would go usually with my cousin and my aunt sometimes. We would just go around and do the normal trick-or-treating thing. I have one picture, as for costumes, I have one picture of me as Woody, and I'm driving my little Jeep that I had at the time. And I remember wearing that costume more than once, but I was also the Tin Man like 3 years in a row. I guess I just loved the Tin Man at the time. And I remember wearing this really like, this silver face paint that didn't smell good at all. And from what I remember, it took a long time to take it off.
Isn't that what the actor like got really ill?
Right. The Tin Man, they had that, I believe so. They had face paint that they used that had like lead in it or something.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember reading about that or learning about that. I think face paint's not the greatest. This one is really nice. It doesn't stink at all. I got it from Michael's. It wasn't too expensive.
Okay.
It took a second to figure out how to like make it so it doesn't look like you're literally painting yourself, but like the blending. So I have no makeup skills whatsoever. My poor mom had 2 girls, but none of them were feminine at all. And now in my older age, I'm trying to like learn some stuff I should have learned when I was younger. So I had to call up my sister-in-law. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Is it hair, makeup, clothing, or clothing first? Or like, what's the order I need to do so I don't ruin everything? She's like, oh, you do clothes, hair, and then makeup. And I'm like, but she's like, no, you'll put something over your clothes. It was a lot. There's a lot of steps to do stuff. So shout out to traditional females sometimes, because I don't know how to do any of that. Or people in general who do stuff with makeup. Actors, right. You guys do stuff with makeup. Yeah. Shout out to you guys.
The dirt on my face is from a makeup kit that I had from on stage. But I did, when I years ago, when I worked as a clown at Wild Waves during their Fright Fest. Yes, that's right, Cheddar. I did.
My cats are always very intrigued by what you say, Jonathan.
And every night they had a different, well, not a different, but they had a makeup person who would do all the makeup. Some were definitely better than others, but it was really cool to see them do their thing and get us all in character. And it would always be annoying to wash off at night, but it was fun.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to do makeup, luckily, because I shaved recently, so my beard's now coming back in. So I already got the natural stubble. You know,
The
natural,
mustache seems to have stuck.
Yeah, the
so
natural
far.
5. Yeah, it finally stuck. Now I got the natural 5 o'clock shadow going.
But I could tell you are not moving your upper lip at all.
Yeah,
Nope.
you're like doing your...
See?
Oh, sorry.
Well, little
Don't
did
make
you
him
know it was me
smile.
the whole time.
I just know this is going to be fun to wash all off. I probably am just going to take a full on shower instead of just trying to wash my face.
Right.
I've
that'll
done
probably
mine
be
before
easier.
at my church, and that was like always the thing, is like getting the makeup off. Because we did full face, full white makeup.
You'll have to take a picture though before you wash it off.
Oh, I've already taken some. I look my best.
Okay.
What I do love is he's not bothered by this at all.
Oh,
Like
really?
for a second, I thought he'd be like scared of me, but he's just like, oh no, okay. This is something she's just doing today. All right.
Hey.
I don't know if he's getting used to weird crap that I just do on him sometimes. Or like he's just like, all right, this is my human. I have to love and accept her for whatever she does and whoever she is. Oh, see?
Well, transitioning into talking about your costume, Alex, starting tomorrow or whenever we release this, starting November 1st is Day of the Dead, aka Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos.
No, you did good. You did good.
And so we thought we would, talk about that a little bit and, your experience with that. If we have anything to add to it, I guess. And yeah, just have a little chat about that.
Well, little background or what is also known as the Day of the Dead, as lots of people know it as. It's a Mexican holiday where families get to reunite with their relatives or friends, other members who have, passed on. They build little altars, offering food and drinks, putting up pictures and other memorable items of the person, and just in a way to, kind of celebrate the life they once had. It actually starts on or at the end of October 31st, Halloween. And Halloween is actually an Eve holiday. That's why it's Halloween, All Hallows Eve. What some may call is the gates to heaven open around the midnight of October 31st, or the veil for the spirit world. Kind of depends on, religiously sometimes where you fall. My past history with this is I haven't had much. I am first generation American, and a lot of where you learn kind of like traditions sometimes is from your mom. My mom kind of grew up in borderland Mexico, so she didn't really have strict traditions of these things either. But as I got older, I learned more about it myself. And I always kind of held a nice little part of it to me, but I've never fully celebrated the day because honestly, fortunately as well, I have not had somebody in my life pass before that I felt like I've ever needed to reconnect with on that day or wanted to hold tight. I've been very lucky like that. However, of course, with 2020 being as it was, I unfortunately did lose quite a few people that I knew during this time. And then on January 1st, I did lose Snowbell. And some people think this can be only a holiday for you to kind of reunite with relatives and, again, friends and family members, but it can also be with those you lost animal wise. I always called Snowball my spirit guide. She was always there for me, helped me out through a lot of dark points and everything. So this is going to be one of those times I do want to show to celebrate her life because she helped me move forward so much that it just feels like a great way to hold her memory and keep it alive. And, you know, this is also an event that's not just celebrated in Mexico, but other locations as well, because it kind of blends European religion and Spanish culture, because it can also be known as All Saints Day. I believe that's more associated with Catholic. And I had it up and everything, but it is known in also other places like in South America as well, near where the Incas were. It's just really just remembering those who passed. A lot of used is like sweetbread and happy colors, oranges and yellows, bright colors, because it's not a day of sadness. It's not a day of hurt or anger. It's a day just to remember all the love you've had for these people, you know, or pets, or, you know, and just the joy they brought into your life and why their memory needs to stay so strong and the power that it can still hold. So
I love that, especially because I feel like in a lot of cultures, people suppress that aspect. They're like, we don't ever want to talk about the dead. We don't ever want to, you know, we want to pay our respects, but that's it. We don't want to really, like, it's not a happy or celebratory occasion. But I appreciate that it's like flipping the narrative in a way for how some people might view it. You know, the people who were once on the earth who have passed brought something to the earth, and I think that should be celebrated. So I think it's awesome.
I think it's also just a nice way to show, because I also believe that, you know, you still have these, like I said with Snowball, she was my spirit guide, and I do believe she's still sometimes present in my darker moments. You want to show them that, like, it's not just in the darkness you think of them, but it is also in this lightness and in this happiness, because their memory is just so much more. And it's also a great way for, I think, for one to, you know, if you have younger kids, for one to learn about your past. Because sometimes I'm still talking to my mom and she'll tell me about a relative. She's like, oh, yeah, this relative. I'm like, I'm sorry, who? They're like, oh, yeah, they passed away before I was even born. I'm like, but why am I just learning about them now? She's like, huh, I guess I should have probably mentioned something about that earlier. Like, just little things like that. We had a moment when she was here that it was a nice little connection. She kind of recalled a deeper memory that connected with, I'm trying not to give away too much, of course, because it involves her personally, just something she realized. And it's just something that I think, if spoken about the past a little more with families, can help heal future generations so much more. And I think also with Christian, she is planning on having kids someday with Yasi, which I'm very excited about, to be an aunt. A little annoyed with her hypothetical child all the time. She's always like, oh,
I talk about my hypothetical children all
yeah,
the
and I
time.
tell you to shut up now. When you guys have real children, do not get me wrong. I will love them. I will spoil them. They will have, your child will be part Latin because of how much I'm going to be involved with both of your, if you choose so, Jonathan.
But not
your
until they're actually on
yeah,
this
but then your hypothetical child, I'm like, all right, shut up, go away. But she right now she's moving a little more forward with those plans. So I want to have more of our past known, so that maybe the future, the past trauma that has once hurt us doesn't have to hurt that child anymore. So it's another form of healing, because you're not forcing the past, but you're just letting it live in a moment. It's not going to be something that's heavy throughout the years, just something you can have an experience with in the moment. And if you wish to go further with it, go further with it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the first time I was introduced to Day of the Dead was, there was an episode of Lizzie McGuire where Miranda, she's Mexican, and her family is celebrating, and like I think she's getting like haunted or something by one of the relatives. I don't remember the episode that well, but as a kid, that was my first time getting introduced to it, and I like that. You know, Disney had that representation in there, And of course, that continued with what probably the biggest to American audiences, at least, like piece of media that came through in terms of like recognizing Day of the Dead is Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there are some aspects of Coco that are not okay, but I think it's still a beautiful movie that just it shows it shows a lot of beauty. There's also Book of Life.
Book of Life. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, Book of Life did really well. I saw it and it made me cry. And just
I
have it on DVD.
Good.
Or sorry, Blu-ray.
What are you gonna say, Jerome?
I vaguely remember Book of Life. I don't remember what it.
It didn't. I feel like it wasn't talked about that much. It was with Zoe Saldana's in it and Diego Luna, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember the plot, but I just know that it involved
it's just people who go into the afterworld and they're kind of toured around a little Mexican town called San Angels. They call it San Angels, which bothers me, but that's how they referred in the movie. It's really beautiful, and what I love about both Coco and the Book of Life is that they show the colorfulness, because a lot of like movies I see when they talk about death or they show about like a lot of Tim Burton films, they're cold, they're gray, blue is overusage, and that's so dreary.
It's because that's the Western way of thinking about death.
Right.
It's very cold and dark.
You're
dreary.
You're drained of life, but it's not. You're finally free from like pain, physical, emotional pain. It should be bright and happy and colorful. You have lived the life you were meant to live, and now you finally get to rest. Why would I want to rest in somewhere that's just
depends
blue?
on who you ask. Because like, in the Christian faith, it's like if you ain't believing in Jesus, like you could have lived a nice life, but if that wasn't your truth, once you die, you going straight to the fiery pits, big fella. Like it's a wrap.
A lot of Day of the Dead does mix with Christianity or the Catholic practices because of the Catholic, the European integration of that. For me personally, I do not believe in that afterlife. I respect, if that is what you believe, that is what you believe. I don't. Then again, I'm always a little unsure because we're human. We don't know what's going on after there. All we have is our faith and what brings us comfort. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think we're getting a report anytime soon on what is true or not after you die from anybody.
Who knows? Earth is on fire, so
if somebody could tell me what's going on Earth right now, because a lot of the shit that happens here doesn't even make sense to me.
I'm just saying, I don't see anyone being like, I died and I've come back to tell y'all what the deal is.
Well, there have been people who've done that, but it's just a matter of
they didn't really die. Like science has proven that really they can't contemplate the idea of their brain losing brain activity for like a few seconds. So they think they died, but
I mean, that's actually true. That's why you can't die in your sleep. Your brain can't. Although I did have a dream one time about hell, and it was really weird. I don't know if I ever told you guys that. I was in hell, and hell it was really weird. Hell is literally just a giant bathroom, bunch of like stalls. All of them are out of order. There's just one really long line for one stall, and it's gross and it's disgusting, and everybody's just waiting for that one stall, and everybody has to pee really bad.
That reminds me of American Horror Story. They did a concept like that where it was like in that universe, hell is like specific to that person. So like in that episode, Queenie was sent to hell and played by Gabourey Sidibe. That was the 3rd season. And when she went to hell, her hell is that she used to work at a fried chicken place. And so it's her hell is working at that fried chicken place forever, and the line is like a non-ending line out the door, and she has to work there for all eternity. And I'm like, that would suck. I'm like, if my hell was just, you're gonna do your job now, but there's no breaks and you never get to go home because it's just you're gonna be working 24/7, 365.
Fred Meyer Deli would be my hell if that's the way hell is. Fred Meyer Deli. After 2 years of not working there, I still had issues with eating fried chicken. I used to
I
have
think you told me this.
nightmares.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
I used to have nightmares of literally uncooked rotisserie chicken marching towards me. Anytime I'd hear a timer go off, I one time jumped out of bed in the middle of a dream because the timer went off. And I woke up and I'm like, I haven't worked there for like 2 years. What am I doing? So like Fred Meyer Deli.
I've only
That
ever
is
had
would be
one dream about work, and that was it was weird. It was the Laser Dome, but like the Laser Dome was my kingdom, and I sat on a throne made of speakers in the Laser Dome, and I ruled with an iron fist. I was tough but fair, and it was so weird. I'm like, I'm not the king of the Laser Dome. Like I'm maybe this is my subconscious speaking, and it's my ego on full blast because it's dream world. I can be anything.
I hardly ever have dreams about work. The most recurring dream that I have is I'm back in high school and I'm going into a class that I've never been into, but it's like in the middle of the school year and it's usually math. And I don't know anything and there's a test or something and it's so weird. And the school is always forming it differently. But anyway, Halloween.
Wait, I'm actually a very lucid dreamer and I don't like it. I wish I just had normal dreams. I often am aware of my dreaming. And so I don't ever really have recurring dreams, but I'm also just highly aware that I'm dreaming. And there was one time I remember I was on a hike somewhere with my mom's side of the family. And I remember stopping and being like, I would absolutely never go anywhere hiking in general like this. Never go hiking with them. I'm like, this is a dream. This isn't real. I literally took off, like, I was wearing a backpack, took it off, laid down on the ground. And I'm like, I'm not continuing this dream. Just not. And I remember seeing the dream almost change. And then suddenly I was in this bar, but it had a bunch of barrels. Like it was almost like a whiskey tasting place. And I was still with them. And I was like, okay, fine. This dream is better. I'll go along with this dream. Anytime somebody poured me a drink, the glass was always empty.
I have fought many monsters in my dreams. One time I was in a zombie, but all those ones always either end in a cliffhanger or I die. Because it's like one time I fought zombies and literally it was like a cliffhanger, like in a movie. Like the shot was me and two other people. I had this dream when I was in elementary school. So it's like me, two of my classmates surrounded by tables in the lunchroom, fighting off a horde of zombies that surrounded us. And literally the camera was panning out like an action shot.
You got multiple shots in your dream, and you've also died in your dream. I've never died in my dreams. I've
died in the sense that like in the real world I would be dead, but I woke up just before I woke up. Right, died. Right. Like one time I was in a hotel trying to plan a heist for some reason, and then turns out that the person who was leading the heist, as well as the people working the hotel, were demons, and I ran away and I, in my infinite wisdom, decided the way to get out of the hotel because they were blocking the exit was to jump out the window of this multi-story high hotel. And literally, I was so into it, I could feel my fingers graze the stone and miss it. And just before I hit the ground, I woke up and I'm like, why does this always happen? All the cool dreams are always just me just dying.
My other recurring dream is I'm on stage and I don't know my lines.
I can see that's scary.
That's just a nightmare, Jonathan.
It's very scary.
That's a terrifying dream. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's the same with the math test thing. It's like, I don't know anything. Like, this is my first time showing up and it's a performance.
Have you ever had that happen on stage where you've had to improv something because you like forgot a line or you said the wrong line at the wrong time or something like that?
Yeah, that's happened. I've never like straight up forgotten a line, I don't think, where it's just like, oh, what happened? One of my when I was in 99 Tropes, my one of the other cast members that I was in a scene in, he forgot his line and it was just us and it was like silent for a second and then I just continued with my next line. But there's been times when I've like I've like said something out of order, I think, but then the scene just went on. But I dread the day. But it happens in my dreams all the time.
Listen, it happens to the best of us. There's been times where I've forgotten, like I've done movie stuff and I've forgotten what lines I'm gonna say. I'm just like, but luckily the thing is, theater and film are different. Film, there's a reset button. You can forget your lines all you want as long as we're not running out of film and not wasting time goofing off. Like you can do it as many times as you want. Theater, there's only the one attempt. Like you either get it or you don't.
Back to Halloween. What are your guys?
I was gonna ask, what are your Halloweens like? So, what Halloween stuff y'all gonna be watching and or do watch for Halloween?
Or what's your favorite like Halloween movie?
I'll start. I always watch Army of Darkness on Halloween. I love that movie.
That just came out though.
Not Army of Darkness. What are you talking about?
Wait.
No, you're thinking of Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
No. Army of Darkness is the third Evil Dead movie, technically, but it's more a horror comedy than it is like horror. Like
I mean, there's blood and gore. It works.
Yeah, I love that movie. It makes me laugh all the time, but it's also like has its spooks and scares. I'll tell you this: Evil Dead, though, Evil Dead 1 especially, like despite it being low budget, is super creepy. Like yes, they had cheap effects, so everything doesn't look like super immaculate, but it still is just as effective. It's still pretty creepy.
What about you, Jonathan? Do you watch anything?
I mean, I don't know if you can count this as a Halloween movie, but it's a horror movie and one of my favorite movies, but it's Psycho. And then because I mean it's a classic.
I mean, it's a thriller, so I would count it as like something to watch on Halloween, you know?
Yeah. And then of course you have the Disney Channel original movie classics like Halloween Town, Halloween Town 1, Halloween Town 2, 3, 4, however many they go. And then Twitches, of course. Okay, 4. And then Twitches. And
did you know, really quick, with Twitches, I found out, I think it was in the second one or the third, they actually were going to have one of the twins be evil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was when which one had the ant?
I haven't seen that movie.
It was that much. So
we know you.
Information.
You know what? We're gonna have a Disney movie marathon, Jerome, because you need to be in a lot more of these conversations. All right.
Listen,
have you seen Twitches, Jerome?
When I was a kid, I watched. Yeah, I've seen it.
You need to rewatch them.
I was a Cartoon Network kid. I watched like real good cartoons.
I watched both. You can do both.
Disney Channel has some real good stuff too. Lot of it was.
They did. Well, so did Cartoon Network. They did.
Yeah. Cartoon Network. Granted, it's a thing where I'm just I've come to terms with that where I'm just like cartoons just aren't for me. Like Western cartoons just aren't for me the same way they used to be when I was a kid. I'm sure.
Twitches isn't a cartoon. It's a Disney. It's a Disney movie. Anyway, one of them was supposed to be evil. I think it was in the second one. Twitches 2. When the aunt, the mom's sister, the other twin, was evil, and they had the one who was supposed to the one who was more like the mom, which was the one who had the son. I forget their names in the movie, but she was the one because she was closest to the son. She was more like the mom side of the family and everything like that. She was actually supposed to turn out evil, and she had a history of being selfish and stuff like that, which I never actually found her selfish. She had a pretty good life, and like her parents were still around. Why would she just want to like give up everything that she knows and loves for like all this other stuff that's strange and things, and just everybody kind of emotionally blackmailing her, being like, well, you have to, it's your destiny. Fuck destiny, I'm going to do what I want.
Also, Twitches is similar. Twitches, can we talk about the fact that Twitches is pretty much the same as Sister, but they're witches?
Yeah, it's Tia and Tamara. It's no different than Mary Kate and Ashley. It's always the same movie.
Oh no, like a good amount of
slightly different premise.
But Twitches,
it's where they don't know that they're twins related, right? Or like
and they meet at a mall.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's a very like that premise is in every movie where they have twins around. Mary-Kate and Ashley's done I don't know how many of those movies where it's like we're sisters and we look alike. Oh my god.
Yeah, but what I don't understand, two things I never understood with that. One, like all respect to like the going back to sister and even Twitches, the mom who adopts, let's say I'm gonna say Tia, she is always really poor and or low income, single. A single woman, a colored single woman, yeah, would not be able to go through the adoption process. Single parents in general can barely get through the adoption process. People of color also have higher difficulties. Lower income. How did she get how did she get
in a
a
Disney Channel
newborn
movie?
in a show?
No, she's talking about sister.
Either way,
Both,
like the
technically.
sitcom no sitcom makes sense when you break it down. All right, in that episode of Saved by the Bell, what's her name is getting high off caffeine pills, which you can't get high off of at all.
Well, Saved by the Bell had its
Getting
own
high
issues
off
because
of-
Zach Morris stopped time multiple times in that show.
That's what I'm saying. No,
they
sitcom
also have
makes
this like
sense.
weird thing where I remember one episode they were talking about it. Somebody I watched it on Zach Morris is actually a terrible person.
Right? Zach Morris is trash.
Where they
I
I love watching that because it was
He is though.
like you watch it and you're like yeah oh my god yeah no
I mean every sitcom character is
psychopath.
Like Fresh
No.
Prince tried to Will tried to get a girl to marry him through Las Vegas just so he could sleep with her.
I did not remember that episode.
I remember that episode vividly. Yeah.
what is Zach Morris?
And then you
do?
wonder like why I say men are kind of trash. You know, there we go. Literally, that's what I got growing up. There you go. That's all I got.
What were you gonna say about Zach Morris?
He's trash. No, there was one episode where he lies and says Mario's character's moving to Hawaii, and like freaking a quick call to his parents, Mario Lopez's
Would've
parents
fixed
in that
it.
show could have fixed everything, but instead everybody makes a big deal about it, and even the school gets involved. It's like just talk to his father, not the little blonde boy in the corner who's constantly lying.
So yeah, it's so don't try and add reality to like how does she afford these kids? Like
Just saying,
don't
how
ask those
did the
questions.
adoption process even occur when
Regardless, same
would
difference.
fair enough. I'm probably gonna watch The Book of Life because I haven't seen that in a while, and that reminds me of a good movie to watch. Also, I just kind of like to watch whatever new horror film I haven't seen. I'll try to watch something new. Usually I might go back to there's a couple that I like, Grave Encounters. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie.
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
It's a pretty it's got good jump scares. It's not actually scary. But it has some pretty good jump scares that'll just get you, and so those are nice when you want to feel that adrenaline. Of course, watching just Halloween in general, I love that. Is just such a good movie. It was so well made.
It's incredible.
There was one time I watched it at like 10:30 in the morning at work while I had it playing in front of me while I was doing work, and then after the movie, I went to Instagram and Jasmine had just watched it. I was like, did you get the streaming system? It's just like, yeah. And I'm like, I just watched Halloween too. I'm like, we should have streamed it together. I know I was at
I
work,
haven't
but
watched it yet, but I will get around to it. I will say also, thinking of John Carpenter, another movie I like to watch during Halloween time is The Thing. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Just because of how well put together it is. Like the paranoia sets in real quick. I love watching because the new thing now on YouTube, it used to be reacting to other YouTube videos. Now it's reacting to like first time watching like old movies that most people have seen. And watching people watch The Thing for the first time is some of the most fun to see them like try and figure out like who's the monster and what's going on.
When you said the new thing now on YouTube, I thought you meant there was a new like show or movie called The Thing on YouTube.
No. No, there is no new The Thing, and there should never be one. We already got one remake, or not a remake, a prequel that is also just titled The Thing, which isn't
But
confusing at
look
all.
what it did.
They'll never
It
stop.
made a remake, and they like. I
Yeah.
feel like more people go to the remake now than they do the original.
That's because the remake is better than the original. Nothing will be better, and because the original wasn't very good versus the original, The Thing is really good, and they'll never do better than those practical effects. I know because the Thing remake, all of the monsters are CG, and they don't look better than the practical effects from that 1980s The Thing movie.
They don't. But I will say this about it: they missed an opportunity to make the ending better, because the ending was so stupid in the remake still, of where they're just like calling him like you're a stupid clown, and he turns
Right.
into this shriveling baby. They had an opportunity to do better because the
Isn't
end
that
one,
the ending in the book though?
yeah, but
Okay,
when did
then
they
that's what they did. Is
they
the
could
ending in the
have.
book.
So, but I'm not saying they
Alex
didn't
is
have
saying
to
they
end
don't
it that
have to
way.
stick to it.
They didn't have to
I
stick.
mean,
They could have
that's true.
changed it, or two, they could have done something better than him being a baby doll with a clown size
Very
head.
creepy.
That
Very
was
creepy.
more like, ugh, that is something
That's
I would find
true.
hanging out in the sewers.
Yeah, they could have changed the end. I mean, they people say The Shining is one of their favorite horror movies, even though it is nothing like the book. It takes a lot of the stuff from the book and makes its own story.
Yeah.
I don't like how in the second they de-aged the kids, because that took me out a little bit at one point, because I feel like they should have just shot the scenes with the kids at the time that they were the age that they were for the first one. Instead, they were older and their voices were more
Well,
mature, so they de-aged them, and it was very noticeable.
I'm wondering if they didn't originally plan on having the kids in the second movie so much, though.
Then
Like,
they should have not had them in the second movie if they were going to.
but they know people liked the kids a lot, so now it's like now we gotta have them in there.
There are some remakes that should never have been remade, and we all know those, like the Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry, that just popped up on my thing. Nightmare on Elm Street, that remake. I still haven't watched the new one. I refuse. I did watch that Child Play one, the remake. That is upsetting.
Child's Play remake isn't great, but I'll tell you what is great. As far as like Child's Play related, the new Chucky TV series.
I'm dying to
actually
watch it.
Pretty good. And
What is it?
not
That's
only
on
that,
Peacock, right?
no, it's on Sci-Fi, but you can watch it for free on YouTube as well.
Oh.
For real?
And yeah,
I was trying to
they've
figure out
been
what to
dropping
watch.
the
Well,
episodes
there's
on
my
YouTube.
Halloween plans right there. I've been dying to watch it.
It's really good, and I'll
Dying,
tell
I
you
get it.
this too: it's all canon. It's not like it's canon with all of the Chucky movies, including the two new ones, Cult of Chucky and something else of Chucky,
It was
Cult of Chucky. Yeah,
It was the Curse of Chucky and the Cult of Chucky.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, all the movies, from the originals to like Bride and Seed, and now like Cult and Curse. All of those are canon, and it takes place after those all those movies.
I did see that because people were upset because he's like, oh yeah, I have a kid who's gender fluid. And people are like, oh, you're trying to do PC. They're like, no, it's canon. He does have a child like that.
Mm-hmm.
Glendale and Glenn and Glenda.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, you're just like, no, he's like, he does that. I did like that scene. He's like, I'm not a monster. I love my kid.
So it's a really good series. I do highly recommend it. I'm liking it so far. It's not finished yet. I think they're only on their third episode. The fourth one I think comes out next week.
Really? I've already heard so much good about it that I'm surprised it hasn't. I assumed it was like the season was like done with the way people had been chatting about it, but I'm dying to see it.
No,
Right, and you would think they would want like the ending on Halloween.
Huh?
Because if they're only on like the fourth episode, then that means it's going to go into November.
Yeah, it's going to go into November. It's not going to finish on Halloween. But I mean, that's okay. As long as the show's coming out, I'm not bothered.
I mean, it's a good show.
Yeah, it's got plenty of gore, plenty of language. That's why I'm like, but Sci-Fi has been doing that as of late, where they'll just make the show as is, like language and all. They'll just censor it when they put it on the Sci-Fi channel, but then they'll have it like on their streaming service or on, in this case, on YouTube for where it's uncensored and you can hear all the F-bombs and everything else.
There was I think it was Sci-Fi. There was a station like that for a while that they pretty much went
Uncensored.
yeah, they were nobody was controlling them. It actually there was also I can't touch my face. There was a show I was gonna touch my eye. There was a show like that. This has nothing, it's not Halloween or horror. From DC's Marvel, the League of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
They're about third season and beyond. Nobody was monitoring that show. The nonsense, nothing was making sense. They were like, they had a giant like blue teddy bear thing, Bebo, as their like fighting armor, and he was replaced as Jesus for a while. Literally, no, everybody was watching like the other superhero shows, like Flash and the Superman show coming out and all this stuff. Everybody was so paying attention to Arrow ending that they did not monitor who was in control of Legends of Tomorrow, and they just it was nonsense. It made there was no sense over there, and it was great. It was chaos. It was just fun.
That's why I don't watch the CW superhero shows. I just can't get into them. I can't do it.
I loved the Flash until the third season, and then same with Arrow, and same with all the others. But Legends of Tomorrow, their third season hit, and they just were like, fuck it. Nobody is paying attention to our show. We have no like executives looking at us right now. Let's just go do stuff. I would suggest, yeah.
I will be watching the first episode. Although, didn't they like halt production on the Powerpuff Girls show? I'll watch the first episode, the very first episode.
Why?
Out of curiosity. People like watching a train wreck.
Is this the live action one or that weirdly drawn one?
Yes,
the live action one.
No, the new cartoon's already been out. I don't know if it got canceled like or anything, but I think it's still going. The like reboot of the cartoon. But no, he's talking about the live action one.
Yeah, I think they halted production for some reason. They were rewriting the script.
They were rewriting the script, and then also like I think Chloe
one of the
Bennett
actresses
bowed out. So
and people were just like, just take it off there.
Because no one asked for this. No one asked for a live action Powerpuff
That's
Girls.
true. There is not a single one. Not a single desire.
Thinking of superheroes and mixed with horror, I am excited, and I'm hoping maybe it'll be like a Halloween thing to watch, but probably not because Disney won't let that happen. Is that Sam Raimi, director of Evil Dead, the original, and other movies, he's directing Doctor Strange 2, and he's saying that it will be like he wants to do more of a horror angle with Doctor Strange 2, which Doctor Strange fits because it's magic, it's demons and creatures and darkness. Like it could work.
Alex, you especially know my feelings on Doctor Strange and my relationship with the film.
It got tainted.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Maybe
I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan, and I thought it was like okay. Like I
liked it a lot, but then again, Doctor Strange wasn't as taken as seriously as like the reason I like Doctor Strange and Thor Ragnarok and Ant-Man is because they weren't taken as seriously as the other ones. So they were just fun to watch. And as soon as they get more serious, it's like, I get it. Your life is sad, but like, can't you just fight somebody? Like,
I mean, Doctor Strange 2 is supposed to have, also there's rumors that Wanda will be in it as Scarlet Witch, now that she's got her powers full on, and Loki as well from the Loki TV show. So there are some cameos.
Side note, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it went viral on Twitter and social media this past week, so I figured I'd bring it up, and it has to do with horror. The movie Us, we all know the movie Us. On Dancing with the Stars this week, Iman Shumpert, he's a basketball player, he did a dance to Us, inspired by Us, to I Got Five on It. It was amazing.
I got 5 on it.
Yes, and it was amazing, and he got a perfect score, and it went viral on social media. So I suggest you check that out because you will rewatch it like 10 times in a row.
I still love those trailers where it's just because it's like a horror trailer. They always play like the song, but like in the distance with like extra reverb. So I just
Right.
love the idea that like the trailer's going on like, who's at the door? It's us. I got 5 on it. Just in the background, just some random dude down the street is just got his headphones on jamming to that song.
And then for Candyman, there was the Say My Name remix, but it was just in the trailer. I thought it was going to be in the actual movie, so I was disappointed about that.
Nah, I knew it wasn't going to be in the movie.
I was disappointed with the whole.
I was surprised I got 5 on it was in the movie. I thought for sure that was just a trailer thing.
No, that was part of the plot. Yeah, that was, well, a little kind of. It was kind of part of the plot.
I have
Yeah.
no idea what the actual plot of Candyman was. The remake.
The Candyman League. We're trying to get together all the Candymen to take on racial injustice, even though Candyman has killed and will kill Black people as well. So,
Doesn't he just murder people?
well, that's the thing is like that movie tried to be like, he's an Avenger. He helps Black people. I'm like, yeah, but in this movie, he killed some random like young Black girl. Who was he say avenging at that time? And if this is supposed to take place right after the first one, he kills plenty of Black people in that movie too. For no reason other than he wants this white woman to be with him. Like, so
Yeah, like the original
Avenger,
Candyman
really?
was like in the original Candyman 2. Also, now that I'm thinking about the Day of the Dead one, the third one, he like tries to entice his great granddaughter to join him. And they almost kiss too, or they do kiss nearing the end. Actually, now I got some other problems with what's
here's
going
the thing
on.
though, that movie's not canon with the newest Candyman. The newest Candyman only takes place right after the first one. The rest of the movies don't count.
So the second one where he tries to hit on his great granddaughter, then she tries to get rid of him, and then the great granddaughter. So that whole incestual thing does not count.
It's
Okay.
not canon no more. No.
But what about that one white woman who's technically part of the hive?
Also no. Well, or you mean from the first movie?
Yeah.
I don't
Helen.
know what. Again, see, that's what I'm saying. The new Candyman tries to have its cake and eat it too, but it's like you can't ignore
It's
the first
like
parts of the first movie because that movie is very specific.
the
with
first
the way
one.
it ends.
Yeah, it was about like the racial issue and all that, but it was also about scorn love
Mm-hmm.
because that was a big part of it too, and then why she became the way she did too in the end.
And she became a Candyman.
Yeah, so
type character
technically,
at the end.
you just in your league, y'all got some random white woman named
White girl.
Helen.
I just love when we did watch it though. We were driving home thinking about that idea, and then I think me and Kaylee talked about that too, where we were like, I just love the idea that it's like if you say Candyman in the mirror 5 times, you don't know which Candyman you're gonna get. You could get like kid Candyman, and you're like, oh man, I wanted like adult Candyman. This is some garbage. Because there's like, how many is there in the league now? Like 6 different Candymen.
And what a
You
jip
could
if
get-
you're like trying to call upon a Candyman and you get Helen.
Yeah, I know, right? You get the one white woman.
Jerome, you said it about 5 times now. Also, that brings up
Yeah, but
my
I'm not in the
point.
mirror. See, there's a difference.
Technically,
also-
Black
and
Mirror.
And also, I know your
Yeah,
glasses.
Jonathan, get your black sweater so you can be Black Mirror.
With your random shades.
Yep.
Moving past that. Also, so I've always been confused at the rules of Candyman. I said it again. Look, I'm so superstitious.
Again,
But
it's
I'm-
only in a mirror. It doesn't count if you're looking at a computer screen.
But that's the thing. So this is a reflective surface. I can see myself in my computer. And in the movie, they were saying it into a window and Candyman appeared in the window, remember?
Okay, but the window.
No, they set it into a mirror, but he appeared in the window. He used a lot of reflective surfaces.
It's true.
Right. And so do you have to say it consecutively? So if you have to say his name 5 times in a row, it does, like if you just
Hold
use
on.
it.
Really quick. Have you never played Bloody Mary then?
What do you mean? Like,
It's the same
You
game.
just
That's what
you
she
wait,
said.
you just said you're superstitious. Does that mean you've never played Bloody Mary? Have either of you played Bloody Mary? Either?
No.
No?
why would I have reason to do that?
Because it's fun to summon shit. I don't know.
I'm not a teenage girl, so I didn't like bother to do
You
that.
guys don't have anything they just summon in the bathroom?
No, guys
I
don't summon
cannot-
anything in the bathroom. If anything, guys be like we have like it's an unspoken rule.
Wait, I don't
If
think
you're
this is a
dude, you
gender
don't go in the
thing.
bathroom with another dude for any reason.
It's a little bit of a gendered thing. I mean, women do tend to go in packs and like
That's what I'm saying. Dudes don't do that. We don't like if I'm going to the bathroom, Jonathan's not gonna come behind me like, yeah, we got to go together. Like,
in all fairness, it's
No.
pack mentality. It's to be safe, but then also like
I mean the summoning part. I don't know if it's a gender thing that that women are more likely to summon things.
I think it is. That's why it's the same reason why more women watch true crime documentaries than men. I don't know what it is. Y'all like danger.
it's best way to prevent it. What was the mistake that was made that we could use? We pick up on cues and everything.
Mhm.
Plus, it's also just fun to find out how somebody murdered somebody.
It's the
As I
thing,
wear
man.
this garb.
I don't get it, but I respect it. I respect
What,
it.
you don't find death interesting at all?
Not really.
I don't think that's a
No.
gender thing. I'm just asking in a general, personal, one-to-one person. No,
No, I don't
Jonathan,
think
do you
I
find
don't find death that interesting. I find the mind interesting, like if like dealing with like serial killers or like social experiments, like like the Stanford experiment, stuff like that. Those are the documentaries I watch. But as far as
Jonathan,
like
but what about
people
like the
dying, no.
I would say I do in a way. If and this is I don't know if I don't know what the word would be for it, but this is probably like something like outwardly, if it doesn't involve like me or anyone I know, but obviously like all these movies and stuff that we watch and I'm interested in about death, like it's in our media, it's ingrained in our media now. But there are also times when I find myself in a rabbit hole there's a Wikipedia article, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast, called List of Unusual Deaths. And it's actually really fascinating, just people who have died in unusual ways. Like some of those people that you would find and it's sad, so I don't want to like make light of it, but it's interesting.
I find it like I love reading about how the ways people have died. I think I understand how that can sound morbid, but that is like a good chunk of my days. I will read like how certain people died. Oh, they went disappearing on this time, but they were found here. What was a possible way that could have led that way? I find that so fascinating because of all the possibilities that could have led up to it. And then also I just find the human body quite interesting. Also, because of how like a body will react to certain like again going very morbid, and I do apologize if nobody enjoys this topic but me, as I wear a black veil, how one body will react to like a certain toxin compared to another body, how diabetes will actually like make a toxin run faster through the system, so there is a 50% chance that it will likely either interact or not interact with the body. So I mean, just the different things we have that some may think is our weakness could be our greatest strength in the end. It also could just be a trauma response because I've been through a lot of shit too. So there's that. It could be multiple things. But anyway, on lighter note.
On that note, I don't know how we should wrap. Anybody got any last Halloween words?
Not really, other than to be safe, people. If you are going out on Halloween night, especially with the COVID stuff going on. So, if you're going to like Halloween parties or something like that, just be safe. Watch yourselves. If you're not vaccinated, be extra safe. Well, firstly, get vaccinated, but then after that, be extra safe. Being out in the streets right now. And if you have small children, you take them trick-or-treating, even though it's been a long time since the 90s, check their candy. It's a great excuse to probably steal some of their candy too. So, there's a bonus there. They're just like, oh, yep, see that Milky Way? Can't trust that. That's got too much. Yep, that's probably got razor blades in it. I'm gonna just
Why
gonna take
Milky
that.
Way always got to be the battering ram? Like there are other Milky Way is good, and people always clown it.
No,
Milky
I love
Way's
Milky Way.
terrible.
No, I would take the
Milky
Milky
Ways
Ways. I'm
suck.
saying that scenario is me stealing my Milky Ways from my hypothetical children. Just
Snickers and Reese's. I'm taking those. Milky
take
Ways
all of them.
suck.
Just like, oh, hold
Oh
up.
my God.
Is that a Three Musketeers bar I see? Yep, I gotta take that. That's dangerous. Nah, I can't trust that.
I love Three
Dad, you
Musketeers
keep taking
too.
all my candy. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to keep you safe.
Whatever. Any last words for you, Jonathan?
No, it's just I'm
We'll get you a
excited
Milky
for
Way.
Halloween. I do. Yes, thank you. I do. I'll definitely this weekend be watching some Halloween movies. I'm glad that for that reason that Halloween is on a weekend this year, and also I definitely want to like thank you for this conversation on Day of the Dead, because I definitely want to now like living in an area that is populated that is heavily populated with a lot of Mexicans. Like it's definitely a prevalent
Culture
thing where I live now. Yeah, it's like ingrained in the city.
Which
So
I would suggest trying to see if there's like a festival or something, because it is something that's a little closer to us, but we always welcome. We like to have other people celebrate with us. You know, it's a nice, because again, it's a celebration. Celebration for all to join in.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely getting out and looking at what's popping around my neighborhood. So
I was also going to mention, though, if you want to watch horror stuff and you want some action, Castlevania also, give that a look. It's a cartoon, so it's not, live action, but it's super dark, super scary, ultra bloody, but fun. I like it. I like Castlevania.
Our friend David mentioned that on Facebook once, and I watched the whole season in 2 days. Or watched, like, I think there were 3 seasons in 2 days. And I kept messaging. I'm like, I don't know what this is going on here. And he's like, it'll make sense in a couple episodes. Like, I still don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying what's going on. It's a good anime.
Fairly straightforward. Dracula's wife got killed, and now he's tearing up the world.
See, there you go. I need to learn how to process their emotions.
I mean, is he a man? He's transcended manhood at this point. Like he's a whole other thing. He's a monster, literally and figuratively. He's
like 3,000 years old. He should learn how to handle his emotions now. That's been plenty of time to process.
Point, once you live 3,000 years old, like you're above the ideas of man, of like temperament. Like who's gonna stop you? Man, not
clearly everybody, because it starts with him starts with him stopped. Anyway, I will be watching Book of Life and possibly trying to find out a new horror film. I do like watching some now 80s horror films. I never liked 80s films, just the thing I had. I don't know why. So I try to watch more horror films maybe from that era. But also I will be doing my little celebration. A nice way of doing Day of the Dead is also enjoying some sweet bread, Mexican bread, or what I like to call conchas, which are these beautiful Mexican bread, and just, other sweet breads from there, and, just taking time to reflect and enjoy. And as for Halloween, like I said, I'll just be watching horror films and eating candy, because I live in an apartment too, and no trick-or-treaters come by. Like it's very closed off.
I feel you.
Yeah, so I get to just eat candy and say I got it for it. Like, doesn't look as weird when I buy a giant bag of candy now. So
all right, we hope you all have a great Halloween.
Yeah, comment below, tell us what you do for Halloween, what movies you watch, or stuff.
And if you're one of these people that is like, what's Halloween? I'm already in Christmas season, then you can get off our page.
Yeah, so what is wrong with you? How dare you?
You gonna skip the festivities of eating what you want to eat?
I don't really do Thanksgiving. I used to work for so many years. I used to work on so many years for Thanksgiving. I stopped celebrating it, and now it's just like
you should enjoy some Thanksgiving. It's good for you.
Yes,
it's the one day you get to pig out and not feel bad.
I do it anyway.
Socials.
Yes.
Let's
You can
go.
find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Alex, where can we find you?
I'm an Alex and Nobody on my Instagram. I also handle the TikTok account, the first ones to die, which is also all our other social media for Instagram, Twitter, email, first ones to die at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And that's pretty much where you can find me, just doing my random day stuff. I recently, really quick, you'll get to see it on my Instagram. I recently went to the live experience of the Van Gogh, which was beautiful, breathtaking, and I even got a little emotional. So come check out that on, again, Alex and Nobody on my Instagram. Jerome?
You can find me at Not Jerome Rhett on Instagram, as well as at Rozu Media, as well as also thinking of Halloween content. Monster Prom, we played a round of Monster Prom that just hit YouTube a couple weeks back. Part 1, it's going to be split into parts because the video is a bit long. Part 2 is coming out. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll already have been out. But go watch Monster Prom. Give it a listen. It's a fun time. Just see what the gameplay looks like and stuff, but also enjoy our commentary. I think we had a fun time playing it. So check that out, as well as we also have more gaming content coming, as well as like for Halloween stuff, as well as other stuff. So stay tuned on the YouTube page at The First Ones to Die for more extra content. That's just the podcast.
Yes, and on that, Alex and I also did a book review recently of the book Everything We Everything We Said, Everything We Didn't Say. I was between everything we once said, everything we said before. No, it's everything we didn't say, and we reviewed that. So that is also on our YouTube as well, and it's not Halloween themed, but it's a thriller.
It's a mystery thriller. We tried to find the closest thing.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us. You can follow us at The First Ones to Die. You can email us firstones2die@gmail.com. Again, follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
All right.
Later.